Adventures of Rocky and Bullwinkle and Friends. Starring that Jet A. Jerry O'Lace, Rocket J. Squirrel, and his pal, Bullwinkle the Moose.
Hi, glad to see you again.
Likewise.
We got some great things on the show today.
Like what? Like what?
Well, you ought to know, Bullwinkle. You're in some of them.
Well, let's get started.
Well, the art world is still buzzing over the shocking theft by Boris and Natasha of 10 old masters from a French museum and their subsequent disappearance.
But it's impossible. How could a picture drop out of sight so quick?
Oh, I don't know. Remember the horn blows at midnight?
Yes, that's right.
Several painters offered to paint new pictures, but that didn't work out either.
No, it's too expensive.
What could be more expensive than the 10 paintings?
10 painters at time and a half.
Oh.
The matter even came up on the floor of the U.S. Congress.
It's an outrage.
It's regrettable.
It's a communist plot.
Sir, why do you think it's a communist plot?
I think everything's a communist plot.
Well, little as they say, did they know that those paintings at that very moment were hung in a chicken coop in Frostbite Falls, Minnesota, where our hero, Bullwinkle Moose, had just covered the last one with whitewash.
Yeah, the hands couldn't work with people looking over their shoulders. All right, girls, back to work.
Well, the hens may have been happy, but there was somebody who was definitely not. An art dealer named Cerulean Blue.
Or as we know him, Boris Badenov.
You whitewashed every square inch of canvas.
Yeah, most of the round inches, too.
Ooh.
He fainted.
What's the matter? He never been in a warm chicken coop before?
Mr. Blue was going to buy those old pictures you painted over.
For how much?
$3.98 apiece.
Up to $3.98 apiece.
Wowee! Well, you wait a second. I'll scrape this whitewash stuff off with this steel wool, and then we'll...
No.
There he goes again.
But in a little while, Boris was his old evil self again.
Tell me, Mr. Blue, why don't you want Bullwinkle to scrape off the whitewash?
Because it'll ruin the valuable painting.
What valuable painting?
Uh-oh, think fast, darling.
This valuable painting.
You mean my whitewash job?
Whitewash my foot.
Okay, if you insist.
No, wait, Bullwinkle. He means he thinks this is a good painting.
Think, I know it's a masterpiece. I'll buy it.
Very smart, Boris.
You think you're dealing with kids or something?
I don't know. How much you offering?
I'll go top dollar, $3.98.
Wait a minute.
Don't interrupt. What were you going to say?
I was gonna say
Now wait. If the painting's worth anything at all, it's got to be worth more than $3.98.
Okay, you got me over a barrel. Make it an even $4.
Well, I think we ought to sleep on it, Bullwinkle.
And so our heroes took the whitewash masterpieces and retired to their small cottage, while Boris and Natasha fumed in the car outside.
What you doing, Boris?
You heard the man? I'm fuming.
That's fuming.
You got a better idea how to fume?
Who you calling, Rock?
I'm calling the art museums. They'll tell us if you're a great painter or not.
Art Museum, good afternoon.
Say, can you come out and look at a painting?
Why should I? I've hundreds to look at right here.
Yeah, but we think we got a brand new old master here in Frostbite Falls.
True.
Well, that's a little different. I'll be right out. And one word of caution.
Yeah?
Let's keep this thing a secret, shall we? Just between us art lovers.
Sure.
Well, it was obvious the museum director didn't know the Frostbite Falls phone system, for everybody in town was listening in on the party line, including Boris Badenov.
And I always listen to Party Line.
How come?
The Party Line is my country's answer to the thinking man's filter.
Well, it looks as if Boris's plan has gone askew.
Gesundheit.
We'll find out more in Bullwinkle Busts a Brush or the Cleft Palette.
There once lived an old man who had nothing to do. It wasn't that he was a loafer, for he had a job at which he had worked for years. He was a clockmaker. The trouble was that clocks hadn't been invented yet. Therefore, none of the clever little clocks that he had made worked. And making clocks that don't work is really nothing to do. Oh, he was very lonely. But one day something happened that was to change all this. He was in the woods gathering nuts for the winter when he chanced to see a box that was partially hidden behind a large tree.
A box. I will take it home and make a clock that doesn't work out of it.
But as he came around the tree, he suddenly stopped short. His eyes widened with surprise. The box had something in it.
Who are you?
I'm a baby who's been left here in the woods by my wicked stepmother.
Baby? How old are you?
16.
That's pretty old to be a baby.
But the old man's heart went out to the young girl. He picked up the box and carried her home to raise as his own daughter. No longer lonely, the old man was happy for the first time in years.
Oh, Cutie Lou!
He called her Cutie Lou, which was kind of cute.
Cutie Lou, it was exactly 1 year ago today that I found you in that box.
Yes, and you made a beautiful clock that doesn't work out of it.
This is your birthday, and I'm going out to find you a gift.
Bidding the girl farewell, the old man set off into the forest. He traveled deep into the wilderness and soon came to a soft wooded glade. There he found some beautiful flowers of solid gold.
Ah, these cute golden flowers will be just the thing for Cutie's cute little hair.
He'd only picked one of the tiny flowers when, with a mighty roar, a great beast suddenly jumped from a nearby thicket.
Roar! You were picking my flowers. For that, I'm going to eat you.
But I only picked one.
So? I'll only eat you once.
Oh, terrified beyond words, the old man pleaded for his life.
Please chase me. Claw me up a little bit where the scars won't show, but don't eat me.
Cease! Your cries for mercy fall on deaf ears.
I'll give you a present. How about a clock that doesn't work?
What else have you got?
Nothing. The only thing I value in my life is my cute little daughter.
This caused the beast to stop and think, for he was unhappy as beasts go, and the fact that the old man had a cutie for a daughter brought a plan to his mind.
Listen, terrified old man, I'll tell you what I'm going to do for you.
A short time later, the beast gave the old man his freedom, and he wasted no time in racing for home. When he arrived, his daughter met him at the door.
Father, you're home. Do you have a surprise for me?
I sure do.
What is it?
I gave you to a beast.
I see ya.
Wait, where are you going?
To find a box. I'm going out in the woods and abandon myself again.
But the old man quickly explained that the situation was not quite as bad as it looked. It seemed that the beast didn't really believe that he was a beast at all. He had heard a story about another beast who, when kissed by a beauty, was changed into a handsome prince who had been bewitched.
And so the beast figures that if it worked with a beauty, it ought to work with a cutie. Logical?
Could be. If he's really a handsome prince, we could get married and live happily ever after. In a castle yet. I'll do it.
And following the old man's directions, Cutie soon found the forest glade where she found the beast anxiously waiting.
Ah, fair cutie. I thought you'd never get here.
Sheesh. It's hard to believe that somewhere under all that hair there's a handsome prince. Well, let's get it over with.
Going to the beast, Cutie kissed him on the cheek to break the spell.
And that's strange. I don't hear bells or nothing like that. How do I look?
Ooh, horrible. Nothing happened. Maybe I kissed the wrong cheek.
And turning to the other cheek, Cutie tried again.
Something?
Nothing.
I can't understand it. The kiss should have worked.
Oh, it's no use. If you're ever going to change back into a prince, we're going to have some help.
And going into the kingdom, Cutie took the beast to a wise man.
Now, just how long have you had this feeling that you're a bewitched beast?
Well, it started when I was a little monster, only about 5 years old.
Then, 7 hours later...
Madam, I wish to announce that he is cured.
You mean he's a handsome prince now?
No, but he thinks he is.
Alas, fair maiden, it is I, Prince Charming.
Oh, knock it off. I wanted you to be a prince so we could live happily ever after.
Me too. But I do want to thank you for all your trouble. Farewell.
And with that, the beast kissed her hand. And, in a blinding flash, Cutie turned into a beast.
Well, how do you like that? I'm who was bewitched. I was a girl beast all the time.
And so, as usually is the case, it was a happy ending. They were married, and as far as anyone knows, are still living a beastly happy existence to this very day.
Hello there, culture lovers. This here pin is part of today's poem, the Old Almanac verse, C.A. Pin. C.A. Pin, pick it up. All the day you'll... Where'd it go? Oh, there it is. C.A. Pin, pick it up. All the... Didn't get it. C.A. Pin, pick it up. Uh-oh, it rolls into a crack. Come out of there, doggone it. All right, I'll pick it up the easy way. What happened?
As far as I can tell, Mr. Moose, a pin got stuck in the motor.
Well, that does it.
Where are you going?
I'm going somewhere where I can say my poem.
But that's a bowling alley.
Of course. These pins I can pick up. C.A. Pin, pick it up. All the day you'll have good luck.
Don't you believe it?
And now...
Hey, Rocky, watch me pull a rabbit out of my hat.
Again?
Nothing up my sleeve. Presto!
Wrong hat.
I take a 7.5.
Now here's something we hope you'll really like.
Ready, Rock?
You sure you know how to work that thing?
No. Anyways, here's what it was supposed to look like.
A question, Chairman. Where is Toronto?
Out on the reservation with the Lone Ranger, Mr. Peabody.
You're close. Actually, Toronto is in Canada, and that is our destination for today.
What great name and history are we going to meet up there?
Constable Archibald Woolley.
Never heard of him.
He was the first Royal Canadian Mounted Policeman. I instructed Sherman to set the Wayback Machine for the year 1869. The place, an outpost in the wilderness territory of Toronto. And before you could say, halt or I'll shoot, we were standing inside the post headquarters watching a very irate Constable Woolley.
What's the matter, Mr. Peabody? He's tearing the place to pieces.
Looking for something, Constable?
Yes, by George, a new job.
You mean you're quitting the Mounties?
Yes, the whole thing's a bust. For my very first case, I'm supposed to bring in Ottawa O'Toole.
Well, bring him in.
I can't.
Why not?
Because of our motto. We always get our man. Ottawa O'Toole is a girl.
Well, I convinced the constable that girl or no girl, Ottawa O'Toole had to be brought in. Following up the latest information as to her whereabouts, we arrived at the Pettigrew Fur Company, only to find it in a complete state of disorder, and a going out of business sign over the main gate.
Trouble here, Pettigrew?
Trouble ain't a word for it. Ottawa O'Toole struck again. She's ruined me.
What did she do this time?
She crossed all my minks with skunks. Now my business stinks.
One good thing came of all this. O'Toole had left a very clear trail. Hoping to head her off before she could commit another atrocity, Constable Woolley took off, but didn't get very far, for Miss O'Toole had set a booby trap.
Yes, and she caught a booby, too.
Undaunted, we picked up the trail anew and followed it to the edge of a dense forest of mighty Saskatchewan spruce. There on a tree was a wanted poster. Look, Sherman.
Wanted, Ottawa O'Toole and her two sisters, Hermione and Gingold.
This unfortunately gave the constable an idea.
If only I could find two ladies and talk them into posing as O'Toole's sisters, I'd put them in jail, and when she came to break them out, I'd have her.
Unfortunately, ladies were hard to come by in the wilderness, so the constable did what he considered to be the next best thing.
How come I have to wear a bonnet, Mr. Peabody?
Because most girls don't have cowlick, Sherman. We were locked up in the nearest jail and awaited developments which were soon to come. As Constable Woolley had figured, Ottawa O'Toole took the bait.
Look, Hermione, a rock with a note tied to it.
Suppressing the urge to throttle Sherman, I instead read the note. Sisters, I will take care of the Mountie and have you out in a jiffy. Signed, Ottawa. It seems as though she means the constable bodily harm.
Yeah, we better warn him. Constable, come here, hurry.
Be with you in a moment. Someone's at the door.
But that's what we want to...
Good evening, madam.
We're still locked up. How's she gonna get us out?
Just then there was a tap at the window. A hand thrust its way through the bars and dropped a long, thin object at Sherman's feet.
A burning candle, Mr. Peabody.
That is not a candle.
Are you sure?
Positive. When we came to, we were trussed up in the back of a speeding buckboard, heading into a remote area. Our driver was obviously the fiendishly clever Ottawa. Also, obviously, she had discovered the ruse and was out to dispose of us.
I'm awful hungry, Mr. Peabody. Mind if I eat my jelly beans?
What jelly beans? I ripped a hole in your pocket, and you've been dropping them at the rate of 3 beans per quarter mile.
What did you do that for?
To provide a trail for Constable Woolley. Sure enough, a scant 400 feet behind was the redoubtable constable, not only following the trail, but eating it as well. It was almost sundown when Ottawa O'Toole brought the buckboard to a stop at the edge of a lofty precipice.
How come she's stopping here, Mr. Peabody?
Obviously, she intends to push the buckboard and us over. But before she could do so...
Ottawa O'Toole, you're under arrest.
Good work, Mr. Constable. Tie her up.
I can't do it. We always get our man, not our woman. This isn't cricket.
O'Toole would have escaped had it not been for my superior powers of deduction. So grabbing a nearby rock...
You can't hit a lady, Mr. Peabody.
She's no lady, Sherman.
The disgrace of it all, capturing a woman instead of a man.
Ah, but you did get your man. Observe! Ottawa O'Toole was a man disguised as a woman.
Bravo! Hear, hear, and all that, Tommy Rot.
Gee, how did you know Ottawa was a man?
Because she had 5 o'clock shadow at 3:30.
That Constable Woolley sure is a great policeman.
Very true, but he became even a better actor.
He did? I never heard of him as an actor.
Well, of course you have, Sherman. Surely everybody's heard of Mountie Woolley?
Well, sir, and madam, and all you kids out there.
Get on with it, blabbermouth.
All right, all right. Well, through a quirk of fate, Bullwinkle painted a coat of whitewash over 10 stolen art masterpieces, and now Boris is secretly trying to buy them back.
What I can't understand is why he thinks these are worth anything.
Oh, I don't know, Rock. They do have a kind of dash to them.
They're just whitewash.
But notice how I left this little dark spot to kind of catch the eye.
Bullwinkle, that's a fly.
Oh, looks almost real, doesn't it?
Well, we'll know whether they're valuable in a little while now.
How come?
I sent for some art experts.
Sure enough, in just a few minutes, a caravan of cars began to pour into Frostbite Falls, bearing the cream of the nation's art connoisseurs, including the Dean of Art Critics, Price McVenson.
Very well. Where are these alleged paintings?
Oh, get them for you.
Boris, suppose those art critics find out what's under that whitewash.
Maybe I better raise my last offer.
Well, here they are, Mr.
My enemies call me Mr. McVincent.
What do your friends call you?
What friends?
Yeah, see what you mean.
Well, what do you think of this one?
This is absolutely and without a doubt the most dreadful, nauseating, ugly...
I'll pay $10,000 for it.
The most ugly frame I can imagine for such an exquisite picture.
You think it's exquisite?
My dear boy, any painting worth $10,000 is exquisite.
I say, Ernest, who's the chap who bid 10,000?
Speaks with an accent, probably from the Middle East.
You mean he may be representing King,
Well, the king just can't go on collecting dancing girls. There's a bag limit, you know.
Well, if it's worth 10,000 to him, it's worth 15,000 to me. I bet 15,000.
Yeah, but wait a minute. These are just whitewash.
The medium doesn't matter, short and furry. It's the soul of the artist. What do you call this, my good man?
Moose.
Moose?
I call this one White Cow Eating Marshmallows in Snowstorm.
It fairly sings, doesn't it?
Boris, they are going crazy. 15,000 for a coat of whitewash.
You know something? It is kind of pretty at that, Natasha.
You too.
You think I don't appreciate beautiful things? 20,000.
Now hold on there. This is getting out of hand.
Let it go! Let it go!
I don't think we ought to sell any of these till we've had a chance to think things over.
The squirrel is right. We really should think things over.
We
agree. I bid 25,000.
30.
40.
Well, that did it. Within hours, the news of an astounding new find in the art world flashed across the continent.
The most titillating new talent since Frank Yaconelli.
Looks like a moose, paints like an angel.
Collector's bid, Moose says nix.
Extra! Moose starts art school! Well, Boris, you have done it again. You have made the moose famous.
But not for long.
Boris, you got a plan?
Of course, and who, boy, is it ever fiendish?
And so the next time Bullwinkle left the house, he was accosted by a strange little boy.
Please, Mr. Moose, could I having your autograph?
Of course, little feller.
Thanks, oodles.
Name is Bullwinkle. Sweet kid. Cute mustache, too. Mustache!
And that wasn't all, for Bullwinkle had just signed a will, leaving all of his paintings to Boris.
So when he dies...
Which could happen any minute now.
We get the old masters. Oh, that's my Boris.
Please, you're crushing my curl.
Well, will the sinister document mean the end of our hero? And if so, what will happen to the Bullwinkle show?
I get that, too.
Be sure to be with us next time for Boris Badenoff Presents, or the 20-inch Scream.
Well, I guess that about wraps up another Rocky show.
Certainly hope you enjoyed it. I did. I always say...
Bullwinkle, time for us to go.
Already? Okay, but first, here are some of the people who made this show impossible.
That's not all.
The fingers get tired. Oop! Got away from me again.
Well, see you next time. Ready, Bullwinkle?